Any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No, because whatever benefits that black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country. Right?
What's up, y'all? I know it's been a little minute since I've done a video. Been wanting to do one, but it's been a little preoccupied. But I'm doing this one because I felt the need to definitely talk on this subject. I mean, I'm not an expert on anything, but I do know, I do pay attention to politics. I do have a BA in political science, so I guess it's in my nature to, know these things and pay attention to politics. So I just want to talk about this VP pick. You know, y'all probably saw that coming a mile away, right? Anyway, um, you have the black community divided on this, right? You have the so-called conscious woke, whatever you want to call them or whatever they want to call themselves. Um, they're totally against it, and rightfully so. Then you have the I would like to say the establishment black community because they vote for the establishment Democrats and they love that establishment. Well, I guess they seem to love it because I mean they complain about it but keep adhering to the same tactics that keeps us in a rut, basically. So the basic premise of this video is I'm going to discuss why that is a danger to us. It's not helping us as a collective at all. It's 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 contributing to the status quo and the establishment and the proprietary order of governance. And what I mean by that is, you know, the system was set up a certain way, whether it's Democrat or Republicans. It was set up a certain way, and that certain way was not built to benefit blacks or people of color. So when you're voting down the Democratic line, you're voting for people just because they're Democrats. You're voting for people because you heard their name, you know their name, and so on and so forth. Um, you're you're being the cog in the wheel to the system that is meant to destroy you. Is meant to keep you down. You're helping them. You're helping them. It's a proprietary order of governance. Plain and simple. It was set up a certain way to allow certain people to win. And basically for the Democrats, all they have had, and I said this in other videos too, all they have to do is sit there and present some kind of form of symbolism and we jump on it. And Kamala, however you pronounce her freaking name, she's no different than that symbolism. A so-called African American woman. Some people are saying that she's not even African American. She's East Indian and half Jamaican. So yes, she's black, but she's not African American. But nonetheless, it's a form of symbolism because Biden been putting his foot in his mouth. First, he sits there and he says, "Oh, well, if you don't vote for me, you're not black."
Question, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, And you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community.
Then he puts his foot in his mouth again and says that the black community is not as diverse as the Hispanic community.
No. Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. You go to Florida, you find a very different attitude about immigration in certain places than you do when you're in Arizona. So it's a very different, a very diverse community.
He has sat there and been the spearheader of bills that have perpetuated the continuation of mass incarceration, I should say. And we know Kamala Harris's record as a DA. She has locked up plenty of black men, and some of them innocent. In fact, there's one, I'm going to look it up, and if I find it, I'm going to put it in here.
What's your response?
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place.
Gotta cut it out, man. Gotta cut it out, you know. And you know, I hope people start waking up. And I hope people are not gonna vote in droves for this Biden fella. I'm not telling you how to vote. Hey, let me make that clear. I'm not telling you how to vote. But let me say this: if you are gonna vote for him and Harris, hold some fire to them. Hold some fire to them. Hold some fire to them. First of all, to develop some policies that help us, and then once they get in office, hold them to it. Hold them to it. Hold the fire to them and say, hey, remember you promised this, you promised that. Well, we need it, or else we're gonna get you out in the next 4 years. That's what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad for this progressive wave on local levels. Need more of a progressive wave on local levels, especially, you know, in Kentucky. They shafted Charles Booker, and for what? Amy McGrath, last time I checked, she's behind in the polls. She's behind Turkey Neck Mitchie. So Turkey Neck Mitchie might sit there and hold on to his seat, and we know he's dangerous and he needs to get out. But he might hold on to the seat. That's a perfect example of you sitting there following that Democratic establishment, and they put in that Democratic established leader in your face, and you vote for them, and then they lose that seat to a Republican. It's been happening for decades now, if you really pay attention. So, you know, this is a little short one or whatever, but you know, I'm gonna leave you with this one and let you think about it a little bit. Maybe I'll come back with another one in full detail. But y'all enjoy your day.
And when I speak, I don't speak as a Democrat or a Republican, nor an American. I speak as a victim of America's so-called democracy. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. If you go to jail, so what? If you're black, you were born in jail. If you black, you were born in jail. In the North as well as the South. Stop talking about the South. Long as you south of the Canadian border, you're South. This is why I say it's the ballot or the bullet. It's liberty or it's death. It's freedom for everybody or freedom for nobody. America today finds herself in a unique situation. Historically, revolutions are bloody. Oh, yes, they are. They haven't never had a bloodless revolution or a nonviolent revolution. That don't happen even in Hollywood. You don't have a revolution in which you love your enemy. And you don't have a revolution in which you're begging the system of exploitation to integrate you into it. Revolutions overturn systems. Revolutions destroy systems. A revolution is bloody. But America is in a unique position. She's the only country in history in a position actually to become involved in a bloodless revolution. All she's got to do is give the black man in this country everything that's doing.